Hello and welcome back to another video. It's been quite a while, I believe 2 months at the time of recording this since the last video, but there is some cool stuff that I get to cover that I think you'll be quite interested in. The first of those being that there's a lot of overhauling going on, and this is going to be 3 sections, I guess, for this video. We're going to be talking about vehicle interiors, vehicle physics, and then some remastering of tracks. So to start off with vehicle interiors, so cars have had interiors for a long time, but let's be honest, they haven't really been the most visually appealing things to look at. So my goal was to make these actually decent to look at and make the game more enjoyable, especially if you like playing on the interior view. It's not a view I use often, but I feel like part of that is the interiors were so basic and I guess lacking that you wouldn't really want to be in there for very long. I've been working on this game for a while, and in that time I've gotten a new PC, and there's a lot of files that I don't have or just simply can't find for the older cars. So it was quickly decided that remastering every single vehicle interior from scratch would be quite a pain, because that would involve exporting the files for the interior from Roblox Studio, and then I'd have to basically just take the edges of that, try to do my best to turn it into something usable, and then I try to refit it to the vehicle, which, you'd have some seams which wouldn't line up, you'd have some parts which don't look great, and let's be real, modeling a whole new interior for a bunch of different cars, with many of them having very similar parts, didn't make a whole lot of sense. So what I ended up deciding on was doing a modular approach, where I'd essentially take a basic idea of what a vehicle interior from each era, I guess it is. Currently there's 3. You've got your 80s rally cars, you've got your, 90s and 2000s rally cars, and then you've got your modern, let's say, 2010 plus rally car interior, because unlike a production car, a lot of these are very similar. They share a lot of features, and there's not a whole lot that's different in between interiors, but you can tell the difference between, a big section of years. So that was my goal: separate each car into its own category of year and give it each an assigned interior, using modular pieces which I could chuck in the basic interior that was already there to essentially spruce it up a little bit. So this would cut down on work significantly and allow me to do this a lot faster. Another thing I mentioned at the beginning of the video was kind of overhauling vehicle physics. Vehicle physics, for a while, they've been something that were made by Chen. And he made these a really long time ago, and I don't know, he offered a while ago to move it from HSE 1.4 to 1.5. At the time, I didn't really see it as necessary. Currently, I guess I'm working with Kamik. I don't want to, sorry if I messed that name up. I'll throw his name up on screen. To do new physics for the cars. He showed me some of the vehicle physics that he's worked on, and I liked them. And I think that they could work well, especially with some of the tracks where there is a bit more of a focus on handling and maybe they aren't quite as wide. But that's currently all in progress, so it might be a while before the new vehicle physics come in. Interiors were meant to be bundled with that update, so whenever vehicle physics come out, that's when new interiors will come out as well. But interiors are done and ready to go whenever I can get all the vehicles ready and driving. So lastly, I'm going to be talking about some remastering of tracks. Now, if you're in the Discord, you'd see that I'm currently working on remastering Kanze Toge. Now, the situation in Kanze is a bit more complex than a lot of the other tracks. Kanze has a lot of issues with colliders and stuff of that nature, so I decided to not really remaster it, as it's a completely new track, essentially. There's some similar layouts and there's some recognizable features, but the track itself is completely different. Under the name, it's really a totally different track, and it's smoother to drive on, more enjoyable to drive on, and just a better experience overall. Now, the situation with the visual changes is that I've decided to go a different route. And by using higher quality trees, I can avoid placing quite as many of them. And by using other, natural vegetation features, it can essentially make a greater, nicer look without maybe as much as the constant repeated trees that you'd notice quite as much. And it creates a more, varied look that I feel like a lot of Rally-Blox tracks, they can really look the same. And because there are so many trees, a lot of them I kept them at a very low visual quality, I guess. They're pretty low poly. There's not a whole lot going on with them. And since they're really at the foreground, you do notice that. Now, this is not true on the winter tracks, but you do notice this on the other togeis. So expect that, especially on these toge tracks, a lot of visual changes are going to be made so that they're more enjoyable to look at and, drive around in. There are maybe at some point I will completely remaster some tracks. We'll see about that. But yeah, that's essentially a lot of what I've been working on. I'm so sorry that I haven't been able to upload for such a long time. Busyness, and there's so much stuff that's just in the works, so I figured I'd cover that, and I hope that a lot of this stuff will be able to come out soon so that you guys can see it and enjoy some of the new content, which Rally-Blox has been lacking a lot of recently. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you want to support the game, then you can buy the alpha version, or you can join the Discord, or both. Always subscribing, that'd be really nice. We just hit 500 subscribers. It's amazing. I'm super thankful for that. I really never thought that we'd hit 500. That's great. Thank you guys so much. So yeah, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in another video rather soon.